19 hours GMT and a Fugu Wednesday. Hello, good evening and welcome to Joine's Prime. We are coming to you live from our studios here at Kokum Limle in Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125, and around the world we are on myjoyonline.com. I am Carlos Kalori.
And I am Faustina Safo. Tonight, Cabinet approved urgent measures to fast-track cocoa farmer payments amid threats by farmers to sell their lands to illegal miners if government fails to clear their arrears. We have details of the fallout from an emergency cabinet meeting earlier today where the government announced sweeping cocoa sector reforms, including the restructuring of Cocoa Board to boost local processing.
Also, Electoral Commission and political parties struck a deal on the rules for the Ayawaso East by-election, with plans to test a new system designed to prevent the destruction of result and chaotic recollation. We have more from today's IPAC meeting, where the Ghana Consolidated People's Party, GCPP, is asking all other opposition parties not to waste money contesting the NDC. We'll tell you why.
Also tonight, government orders full audit of all sanitary pads distributed last year under the government's free sanitary pad initiative over concerns of poor quality. We'll hear from the Education Minister, Haruna Idrisu.
And later, MPs demand stricter enforcement of water transport safety standards after last year's Volta Lake tragedy, which claimed the lives of 16 people, including children. Remember, this is Joy News. We are independent, fearless, and credible.
Please take a seat and be our guest.
Let's begin from the presidency, where Cabinet has approved urgent measures to fast-track payment of cocoa farmers across the country. Speaking after an emergency cabinet meeting, Minister for Government Communications, Phyllis Kwakye Ofosu, announced sweeping reforms in the cocoa sector, describing them as the most far-reaching in its history. The reforms aim to boost domestic cocoa processing, moving the country from exporting raw beans to producing value-added products. Comprehensive restructuring will also take place at Cocoa Board to improve efficiency, transparency, and management of the sector.
While the emergency intervention follows delays in payment to farmers who delivered cocoa since November 2025, with Cocoa Board reportedly owing license buying companies over 10 billion Ghana cedis. The Minister for Finance is expected to address the nation tomorrow at 11 a.m. to outline the implementation plan and financial framework. Our Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Bawa has more in the following report.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana is in that meeting. The finance minister, who is a cabinet minister, is also in that meeting. We know that the boss of Cocoa Board himself, Randy Abe, is also in that meeting. He arrived here about 3 hours ago. He was one of the first people who arrived here at the presidency, the Jubilee House. And that was expected because this whole issue is happening within his sector. So you'd expect that he'd be one of the first people to arrive here. So he's also in there. The trades minister is also in that cabinet meeting. We saw the education minister as well. Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak is also in that meeting.
Yesterday, we have just concluded a lengthy cabinet meeting, which was an emergency session that discussed the cocoa sector and matters arising there. And at the end of the emergency session, decisive measures have been agreed upon regarding expedited payments of cocoa farmers, regarding the implementation of the most drastic reforms in the cocoa sector, with a view to achieving quantum leaps in domestic processing of cocoa as opposed to export of raw materials, and various reforms to be carried out at Cocoa Board in order to ensure more effective administration and management of the cocoa sector. Now, at 11 a.m. tomorrow, the finance minister will address the people of Ghana and announce these far-reaching measures as agreed upon at the end of the cabinet meeting today. So that is what I have for you.
While President John Dramani Mahama has bemoaned the poor handling of Ghana cocoa and oil sectors in the past, stating that the country failed to strengthen Cocoa Board's capacity to syndicate effectively. Masu Agbaba once again with the following report.
The president is the chairman of the committee, so in all we have 13 members of the Presidential Advisory Group on the economy. Notable amongst them, we have former finance minister and former Bank of Ghana governor, Dr. Kwabena Dufo. He's a member, Sesam Jonah, who is an industrialist and a private sector leader, is also a member. We also have Ms. Abanamwa, who's the chief executive officer of the Ghana Stock Exchange. She is also a member.
As a nation, we find ourselves again in debt distress, after having previously declared IPAC and solemnly assuring ourselves that we will never return to such a position. After investing in 3 oil fields and positioning ourselves as an emerging petroleum economy, we allowed policy inconsistency and investor uncertainty to drive existing and potential investors to competing jurisdictions. The result has been a declining trajectory of crude oil output at a time when we should have been consolidating gains and building resilience for the energy transition. Our handling of state-owned enterprises has also been uneven and at times haphazard. Weak governance frameworks, political interference, and inadequate financial discipline undermined institutions that were once engines of stability and credibility. We failed to raise sustainable funding for cocoa and the Cocoa Board's capacity to syndicate effectively, something it had done successfully since the early 1990s, and this was severely impaired. These are not points of blame, they are lessons in responsibility. Ghana's economic history teaches us humility. We have deepened our capital markets, expanded the range of domestic bond instruments, yet we have also experienced painful setbacks, including debt distress and decline in investor confidence. Our task now is correction without amnesia, learning from both our success and our failures.
Well, she tasked the members of the committee to ensure that the definition of the economy goes beyond the abstract. She says members of the group should work to ensure that the economy means price stability for the trader out there, that it means the ability of the teacher out there to buy products from the market at affordable prices.
For us to constantly reflect on what the term the economy should mean to our fellow citizens. Beyond an abstract concept, it should mean many things, including the following: stability for the teacher in the classroom and the nurse on night duty, fair prices and reliable markets for the farmer, predictable costs and access to credit to the trader and small business owner.
Well, Joy News is set to convene an extensive national dialogue on illegal mining on Thursday, February 12th, following the airing of its investigative documentary, A Tax for Galamsey. The documentary, which has sparked a widespread public debate, uncovered troubling allegations of local government complicity surrounding Galamsey activities, supervised by the District Chief Executive of Amansia Central, Emmanuel Obin Ajaman. In the immediate aftermath of the expose, the president has been petitioned for a prompt and thorough investigation into the matters that were raised in it. The Joy News National Dialogue is expected to bring together key stakeholders to discuss the documentary's findings and whether MMDCs are the weakest link to the country's fight against Galamsey. Here are excerpts of that documentary.
At the bank, Benjamin himself took the 3,000 Ghana cedis and deposited it into an account labeled Main IGF. Every step was filmed. He receiving the cash, filling the deposit slip, and even the teller processing it. Benjamin made photocopies of the bank receipt and handed the copy to us. We have now successfully purchased registration. Proof that this was not an unofficial backdoor operation, but an organized, systematic revenue pipeline built into official financial structures. The deeper we went into the investigation, the more we uncover the extortion network. This time, we visited the NADMO office hours later. Here, we met Evans Amankwa, the municipal NADMO director, the same officer whose men we had earlier seen at Red's residence. He welcomed us without hesitation, fully aware of our mission because one of his men had told him about us. He inspected the receipt we had from the bank.
Well, you're outfit here. You're in my reclamation. You say one line for most of my problems. Nobody knows. I'm the baby. I'm free grateful for machine be area one more for one cataso. On a cata, we also one son. The bad operations also. Yeah, very true. So they want to be over.
This direction was to confirm the amount to be taken. His officer, in another meeting room, requested that 2,000 cedis be paid to avert any ambush from NADMO officials.
Next week. See, next week Monday nearby Nanka. Yabeno director support. Yabeno Yabani ye. See, then go budget 1,000 Nanka for the 1,000 Nanka. Nanka Sasa and the way Danas Nanka Monday Nanka.
After negotiating, he agreed to the 1,000 cedis. This was paid to the lead negotiator at the director's office. A sticker available to us is dated 18 August 2025 and marked number 097, which belongs to one of the miners.
We're dating Ayawaso now, 18th August 2025.
How much did you say?
3,000 per each.
That's tomorrow. Well, tonight, moral concerns over alleged vote buying are splitting constituents in Ayawaso East following the NDC's decision to move forward with Baba Jamal in the March 3 by-election. Nominations have officially closed and 3 candidates have so far been cleared to contest the seat left vacant by the late MP Nasa Ture Mahama. Stephen Mensah has more in the following report.
The NDC officially nominated Baba Jamal on Saturday, January 7. The nomination was followed closely with debates over allegations of vote buying during the party's primaries. Campaign season in Ayawaso East will now kick off with 3 contenders: the NDC's Baba Jamal, the NPP's Baba Ali Yusuf, and an independent aspirant, all vying for the high-profile seat.
We are kickstarting our campaigning tomorrow to prepare for the 3rd March elections. He is going to win. This is our stronghold. We are not prepared to lose this seat.
Greater Accra Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Gladys Pinkra, tells Joy News about the next steps following the closure of nominations.
So what I'm saying is we'll do the balloting tomorrow to determine the positions of the candidates. So far, we didn't encounter any challenge.
In Nima, reactions to the NDC's decision to retain Baba Jamal as its candidate are mixed.
Seeing it happening last Saturday, me personally, I wasn't so happy about it. And it's a shame on our government.
What they are doing in Parliament is bogus. Because even them, they are buying vote, whatever their constituency, every year. They are buying the vote. Everybody is buying vote.
Meanwhile, the NDC has strongly rejected what it describes as attempts to spread bribery narratives and portray the party as divided and unethical.
From the Electoral Commission's office here in Accra, I'm Stephen Mensah for Joy News.
Well, tonight, the Electoral Commission and all political parties have agreed on a roadmap ahead of the Ayawaso by-election. The roadmap includes modalities around the printing of ballot papers, election monitoring, but most importantly, how to prevent the destruction of election results at the polling station. All of this came up at the behind-closed-door Inter-Party Advisory Committee IPAC meeting at the EC headquarters here in Accra. James Aveji has more.
This first EC IPAC meeting with the political parties, some 3 weeks to the March polls in Ayawaso East constituency, is among other things to agree on the specific schedules for several activities, including the printing of ballot papers, balloting for the elections, and the representation of the political parties in the elections. Both directors of elections for the 2 major political parties have been giving us details of what transpired in the 2 hours meeting.
EC also intend introducing what we call results taken electronically at voting centers. And so they are going to pilot this exercise at the Ayawaso East by-election. An arrangement where results will be collected electronically to collaborate with the manual transmission of election results. I think by and large, there's understanding among parties that is a nice way to go. Other discussions have to do with EC to conduct a review of the 2024 presidential and parliamentary election. That has not been done, and so discussion with the EC has admitted that it's an important exercise that needs to be done.
We've agreed to all their processes they have laid out in terms of the printing the ballot papers and then deployment of party agents. We've agreed that we are going to deploy 2 party agents at a time for each of the polling stations. Ideally, it's supposed to be 1-1 because it's a parliamentary election, but because it's just a restricted parliamentary election, they've given us that opportunity that we'll deploy 2 party agents for each of the polling stations.
General Secretary for the GCPP, Citizen Atudadzi, has also been telling us what the push has been in terms of identification of political party agents in this election.
We give agent tags, and it is a general tag that you are an agent. But what we realize that when you actually give a particular name to the agent, it helps.
The blanket party agent kind of.
Because if anybody can just swap around, but if you know that this is Atudazi and he's been tagged, if anything happens, you can hold Atudazi to it.
EC, you parties have agreed that henceforth the name of the agent should be on the card.
Yes, I drum home that point because that worked in Akutia, and they said that yes, they are going to look at it and do it. I don't know whether they are going to, but they agree in principle that yes, I think it also helps, so they are going to do that.
But yourself, are you in the election?
No.
Your party is not in the election?
We have decided not to file the candidacy.
Why?
We've looked at our chances in Ayawaso East. We think it would be a waste of resources to contest the by-election at this point. Looking at the circumstances in the constituency. In fact, I would actually urge other political parties, at least not too far. You know, by-elections is becoming increasingly expensive.
So between now and March 3, the political parties and the EC are expected to work hand in hand in order to deliver a smooth and transparent by-election to select an MP for the people of Ayawaso East constituency after the demise of Honorable Macnaza Mahama. From the EC headquarters here in Accra, I am James Savaji for Joy News.
Well, let's head now to Parliament, where members of Parliament are calling for the strict enforcement of safety standards governing water transport across the country following a series of tragic incidents, including the death of 16 people, 11 of them children, after a boat capsized on the Volta Lake last October. Delivering a statement on the floor of the House, the Member of Parliament for Krachi West, Helen Adwa Ntoso, urged government to take urgent steps to improve safety compliance, particularly in deprived and riverine communities that depend heavily on water transport. There's more in the following report.
Water transport remains the major means of transport for so many people living along river bodies in the country. MPs are now pushing for strict enforcement of the standards, especially safety standards, to ensure that lives are protected. MP for Karachi West, Helen Adjuantoso, raised the matter on the floor and talked about several deaths that have been recorded in the past few years, particularly a tragic accident that occurred in October last year.
Mr. Speaker, a tragic accident occurred on October 11, 2025 on the Water Lake at Okuma, an island community in the Karachi West constituency, which claimed the lives of 16 individuals, including 11 children. Mr. Speaker, the boat, which was carrying over 20 passengers, traveling from Okuma to Debume to attend the funeral of a beloved one, regrettably capsized. Preliminary reports suggest that overloading and poor safety measures may have contributed to this devastating tragedy. This heartbreaking event has left families and the entire community in deep mourning. Mr. Speaker, this painful tragedy serves as yet another reminder of the urgent need to enforce strict safety standards on our waterways. We must ensure that boats are not overloaded, that operators are properly trained and licensed, and that every passenger wears a life jacket before boarding.
NPP MP for Pandai, Matthew Nyindam, called on government to do more to protect the lives on these water bodies.
Some of the boats are such that they can carry over 50, 100 people. No regulation, nothing. The authorities see them, they look at them unconcerned, but when disaster like this comes up, Mr. Speaker, we will be here to make statements, we'll be here to complain. Authorities will go in, donate one or two things, and then that ends the story.
Minister for Sports and Recreation, who's also MP for Boem, along a river body, talked about what government is going to do to ensure that safety standards are upheld.
The Minister for Roads and Highways and government have commenced serious steps to have bridges over 3 critical water bodies: Oti Bridge, Volivo, and that of Echia Manfron and Adoso. That's a great step. And I believe that we should begin to extend some of these services also to our normal water transport system. We truly empathize with the families that have lost their loved ones and the 2 surviving ones.
Members of Parliament say government should not only purchase life jackets for these communities, but they must ensure the strict adherence to safety standards and all the protocols on these water bodies. Reporting for Joy News, Kojo Antwi, Parliament House, Accra.
Well, Education Minister Haruna Iddrisu has ordered an audit of last year's sanitary pads distributed under the government-free sanitary pad initiative, citing concerns over their quality. This move aims to ensure the program effectively supports girls' education and health. Fatau Bayaga report.
The minister says this follows concerns raised by the Consumer Protection Agency of Ghana and other stakeholders over the quality of the product. He noted that he is currently undertaking a comprehensive evaluation of the assessment to determine the next line of action. He cautioned companies that will win the bid to be mindful of quality standards.
I have asked a team of auditors to go around the schools and do an audit of the quality of some of the sanitary pads that were supplied, because I received concerns from the Consumer Protection Agency of Ghana as to some poor quality of some of the sanitary pads that were supplied last year. I'm now evaluating the report of the assessment, and that would advise government how to deal with it into the future. But essentially, we want any company that wins a bid to be mindful of standards.
He also debunked claims about the number of sanitary pads purchased last year, clarifying that the government procured more than 12 million sanitary pads.
The chief arithmetic of just dividing a certain number in the budget of 6 million divided by the amount of money that was allocated. In fact and in truth, we procured 12 million and over sanitary pads. 12 million was a minimum for 2025.
Haruna Idrisu further noted that the initiative will significantly strengthen girl child education by helping to keep girls in school at all times.
We have worked to end menstrual poverty, and we are working to ensure that the girls stay in class and in school throughout the period of their study, in order that we can have improved learning outcomes.
The minister told the soft care manufacturing plant to inspect the company's capacity to produce sanitary pads for the government's free sanitary pads initiative. He expressed satisfaction with its operations.
In all sincerity, they are the largest in the country. I didn't know this. He's been trying to get me here since last year. Now I have a fair view of what he do and what he can do, but subject to lawful procurement.
The managing director of the company, Michael Kofi Bakong, expressed gratitude to the minister and the government for the confidence reposed in the company's work.
We are very willing to be a supplier to the government free sanitary pad program. That is a game changer. You know, education is a game changer, and the government free sanitary pad project is highly applauded.
The visit forms part of ongoing efforts to ensure quality delivery and successful implementation of the Free Sanitary Pad initiative nationwide. For Joy News, Fatah Bayaga, Accra.
You're still watching Joy News Prime. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay with us.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us.
To other stories now, members of parliament have rallied behind government's declaration of Wednesday as a day to wear fugu across the country, urging Ghanaians to embrace the traditional attire as a symbol of cultural pride and national identity. A statement read by the Esikado Ketan MP, Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa, sparked contributions from members who stressed that the move goes beyond fashion and represents a collective affirmation of Ghanaian heritage. The lawmakers also highlighted the significant social economic benefits that could arise from widespread patronage of the local-made fabric, noting that increased demand would boost the livelihoods of weavers, particularly in northern Ghana.
This attire evolved from simple tunic worn by warriors and farmers to royalty and chiefs. Fugu has over the years won the heart of the entire nation. Its tightly woven nature, interlocking motifs, and signature patterns symbolizes strength, authority, cultural pride, and unity.
And I think that we must be certain, if we have to decide that we are taking it on Friday as a traditional way, I think it will be better. So maybe leadership should put their heads together, and if we are able to start this from Parliament, I am sure that it will transcend to the rest of Ghanaians.
Mr. Speaker, I see the declaration by His Excellency to refer us back to wear this cloth on Wednesdays as a means to energize the industry and provide livelihood support to the people who deal in this clothing.
And we must make it a habit that every Wednesday we all appear in our smock in order to promote Made in Ghana wear.
Well, Fugu Wednesday, an initiative by the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Art, is set to add a new cultural dimension. The initiative celebrates and promotes one of Ghana's most treasured traditional fabrics, Fugu, like what I'm wearing, which is sometimes referred to as batakari. The ministry encourages Ghanaians to proudly showcase this enduring symbol of heritage and identity. Joy News' Rodalyn Abensa went into town on a day to see how Ghanaians were actually complying with the new directive.
The initiative encourages citizens at home and abroad to wear fugu, also known as patakari, as part of efforts to preserve Ghana's cultural heritage and also promote national identity. Traditionally woven in northern Ghana, fugu has grown beyond ceremonial use to become a symbol of cultural pride embraced across the country. The ministry says the policy is also designed to boost the creative economy by increasing demand for local weavers, designers, artisans, and traders along the textile value chain. Joy News spoke to some Ghanaians who have embraced the initiative.
We got the news that we should make Wednesdays as a Fugu Day, and then as a public officer, I deem it necessary as part of our responsibility to champion the cause of the state.
I feel so proud to be in Fugu this morning. Yes, I'm a lover of Fugu. And when I heard about the communication when the president visited Zambia, and then through the Minister of Arts and Culture, Ablaji Fagomashi, declaring Wednesday as Fugu Day, I felt so proud. So I decided to be in my Fugu costume.
Actually, I wanted to wear it on Friday, but when the government said Wednesday we should wear Fugu, so I chose to wear it today. We are promoting Ghana's culture, and we know our culture is very, very important to us. And if we promote it more, the other countries that are mocking us will know that it is our culture, so they will not be doing it.
We Northerners, this is one of the most beautiful outfit that we normally put when we want to go out.
Even my traditional world. So by this time, the whole Ghana wear Fugu because Fugu is good.
For Joy News, Rodalyn Abensa's report read to you.
Away from that, for years, migration has been a survival strategy for families in Ghana's Savannah region. When the rains fall and farmlands dry up, young people often leave home, traveling south in search of work to support the household. For many, the journey is seasonal. They leave to earn income and return when conditions improve. But after prolonged dry spells linked to climate change, some feared those departures would become permanent. Now, some of these young migrants are coming back home. Targeted interventions aimed at easing the impact of dry spell are restoring hope, rebuilding livelihoods, and giving families reasons to stay. There's more in our Climate Evidence series.
Migration in this context emerges not merely as a survival tactic, but as a strategic adaptation to climate stress. The Savannah Farmers Brigade, SFB, a leading agricultural organization, has launched initiatives to support farmers, primarily by promoting climate-smart agricultural practices. Two migrant returnees, including a 34-year-old Gifty Ibrahim, shared experiences of migration and how she lost her 6 acres of maize and 4 acres of groundnut to the dry spell.
You went there to work and get money so that you can come and do small business. The maize I only have, because we don't have money, I only make this thing. The maize 6 acres and the groundnut 4 acres. If, when we go there, you will work and be send the money to the house.
The region is highly vulnerable to climate change, with rising temperatures and shifting rainfall patterns, severely affecting agricultural productivity. To address this challenge, farmers in the region are adopting climate-smart agricultural practices like double cropping, which involves planting and harvesting 2 crops in a single season. Farmers can, for example, plant maize in April and harvest it in June, followed by groundnuts or cowpea in July. The double cropping initiative was informed by a study conducted by Professor Francis Malongza, lecturer and head of Department for Community Development Studies at the University for Development Studies, Tamale.
There will be the gap between the northern part of the country and the southern part of the country. Because in the southern part, farmers are able to cultivate twice a year. Is that okay? And for that matter, their livelihood and the average income will be higher than farmers in northern Ghana. Is that okay? Right. So if the information on the changes in the duration of the rainy season is made available to farmers in northern Ghana, is that okay? Yeah. They'll be able to cultivate twice a year.
I tried to do the double cropping where I planted groundnuts first. The groundnut happened somewhere April. Yes, that was somewhere April. April, May, June. I harvested the groundnuts. Then I planted maize. And the maize, November, I went and harvested. And the yield was perfect.
His research in Wa, Boko West and Bongo focused on cultural influences on agriculture. Professor Malongza and the Savannah Farmers Brigade are offering renewed hope, enabling farmers to adapt to climate variability, improve household income, and secure a more resilient agricultural sector. Isaac Nunez report for Joy News. This story is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with CDKN Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from Claire R4I Opportunities Fund.
Away from that, the Upper West region has recorded 15 suspected cases of meningitis, including 4 confirmed cases and 2 dead. The Upper West Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Josephat Nyazug, told the media that the current situation is generally calm compared to last year when the region recorded 269 suspected cases, 36 confirmed cases and 18 dead. He added that the Health Directorate is intensifying surveillance, improving access to treatment and strengthening community-level interventions to prevent further cases and reduce fatalities. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports that the 2025-2026 meningitis season began in the last week of October 2025 and is expected to end around April 2026.
Objective of the press conference, according to the Upper West Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Joseph Nugzali, is to update the media on the meningitis situation in the region, laid bare preparation they have made to minimize the effect and to seek the support of the media to help fight the deadly disease. Dr. Josephat rolled out case figures of meningitis for the year 2025.
Last year, as a region, we recorded a total of 269 suspected cases. Out of this, we were able to confirm 36 of them through laboratory investigations. And out of the 36, unfortunately, we lost 18 of them. In fact, majority of the cases were concentrated in the Nadoli and Nandon districts.
He averred that the situation is generally calm as he compared last year's figures with the current situation, as they recorded 15 suspected cases, 4 confirmed cases with 2 deaths.
We have recorded a total of 15 suspected cases across 6 districts. And despite this number of suspected cases, I'm saying that the situation is not out of control. In addition, in terms of confirmed cases, we have, of the 15 suspected cases, 4 of them were confirmed through laboratory investigation. And out of this, there were 2 deaths, one from Nadoli district and then another from Japa district.
The Upper West Regional Director of Health Services then rolled out measures put in place to prevent and minimize the effect of the deadly disease, urging residents to adhere strictly to.
People should be encouraged to wash their hands regularly with soap and water and seek early medical treatment, because you can have the best medicines available, but if the client's report leads, it's difficult to help. And the other area we need to prioritize also has to do with vaccination for our children under 5 years old. And here we want to encourage all caregivers to ensure that children below 5 years are vaccinated, particularly not all routine vaccines, but as I indicated for meningitis, the pentavalent vaccine and the pneumococcal vaccine are really helpful in preventing meningitis due to those strains.
Reporting for Dway News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Away from that, Ghana says it will advance its plans to table a resolution before the United Nations in March this year, seeking to declare the transatlantic safe trade as the gravest crime against humanity. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, in his address at the Executive Council meeting of the African Union, which is underway in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, called on all member states to rally behind the Ghanaian campaign, which the minister says is consistent with earlier declarations of the continental body.
Consistent with the Accra Declaration on Reparations and the AU Assembly's decision on reparative justice, Ghana, on behalf of the African Union, intends to table a resolution at the United Nations General Assembly on the 25th of March this year, seeking the formal and universal recognition of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery as the gravest crime against humanity. Ghana formally requests the unflinching support and co-sponsorship of all AU member states for this resolution. We have already worked extensively with experts in the African Union, in the CARICOM Commission, and in the larger diaspora community. And we believe that this is a time to secure justice. By standing together at the United Nations, we signal to the world that Africa will no longer allow the scale of its historical suffering to be minimized.
Well, you're still watching Joy News. We'll return with Showbiz. Stay with us. Well, it's a Fugu Wednesday on Showbiz tonight, and guess what? Your queen of entertainment is in Fugu.
We are all in Fugu, yeah. So it's official, right?
It's official, yeah.
Fugu Wednesday.
Wednesday, right.
Fugu Wednesday. Parliament is on board. Yeah. I am on board. You're on board.
We're all on board. Joy News is fully on board.
Yeah, I can see that from all the way to sports. I saw that on air. But this evening, let's put the spotlight on Kojo Antwi. So after nearly 2 decades in the making, Ghanaian high life legend Kojo Antwi is finally ready to turn the page on his life story. The Afropop pioneer, affectionately known as Mr. Music Man, has announced the completion of his long-awaited book titled From Bands to Ballads to Brilliance. Mr. Music Man, The Journey. Speaking on Personality Profile on Joy FM, the music icon revealed that the project took 18 years to complete. The book is set to be officially launched on Wednesday, February 13, 2026 at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Here's more.
Yeah.
It's a part, an important part.
Yeah.
It talks about music in Ghana, talks about the concert bands,
yeah,
the dance bands, talks about the cultural troops, talking about the time that Wulome and Jaji Lloyd Cruz, like them, were headlining shows all over the place.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to share your story now?
I would say it's our story. You know, it's usually musicians don't write their books. You see captions of us written, oh, he's playing here, he's playing there, but we don't really capture our story. There's a story of someone who is being on the road. Christmas and Easter, our cocoa season is the time that we get to play around the world. This is a story of a man who played in a dance band. Dance band then was a group that we were playing most of the copies from the West.
Yeah.
Everything that the West played, we were into music of Earth, Wind and Fire, Kool and the Gangs, you name it, all the top artists of the West, and the reggaes like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Mighty Diamonds and the rest. So that's how I started out.
Okay.
Before entering the studio to record my own.
Yeah.
You know.
We'll get through the journey.
Yes.
But, how long did it take you to put this book together?
I would say it has taken me about 18 years.
And she says, music is more than just a career. It is a divine calling. He reflected on how his passion for music was shaped by purpose, perseverance, and nearly 2 decades of documenting his remarkable story.
And that's all you wanted to do?
Now, if you ask me, that's what I'll say. It was a calling.
Yeah.
Everything that happened to me, I had to be a musician. I needed to, I discovered the studio then. Studio wasn't the 4-track thing, the own studio thing that people had. Studio was more of a gadget that had 2 inches tape, this thick, that you could play your songs through. You walk into the studio and you find all these gadgets of reverb, different reverb, and it's all connected. I discovered the studio and I found out that's a place you could isolate yourself and make music.
What did you risk, whether emotionally or materially, to choose music? When you chose music, did you risk anything?
I did, but it was a journey that I took all by myself. My father wanted me to do something else. I had a job at ECG.
Oh, you did?
ECG. I worked there for some time. That was, I worked there for a while, and then I was still discovering to be in a band. So at ECG, I was still searching in the graphic or Ghanaian Times, because they will have a little thing going, or a musician wanted, a drummer wanted. So I was still searching for a band to go and show them I could sing songs of Jimmy Cliff, Bob Marley. Bob Marley came after.
Kojo Antwi, then now that we're putting the spotlight on Kojo Antwi, I'd like to ask you, what will be your favorite song from Kojo Antwi? Mine is Mfamin Koho. Do you know that song?
Well, not quite.
But you have a favorite, I know that.
Oh yes, that dear me.
Oh, Vejimilete Komao.
It's a very beautiful song.
Yeah, I don't have that, but I have Mfamin Koho. It's what we're leaving you with this evening here on Joy News. We're grateful for your time. It's a love song, and also because we're in the Valentine's. I'm not feeling the Valentine's. What's going on? It's like a lot of people are not dating anymore, or they're not in love anymore. Well, the only people who can show love on Valentine's Day, apparently, are couples.
Okay.
So if you're not dating, it means that you're not part of the pool, the love pool.
Do some story of that tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe we should talk. Because, I'm not feeling it. There are no flowers coming in. There are no cakes.
Maybe we need to bring some
in.
flowers here next time. So.
No, we don't necessarily.
We promote it for Ghanaians.
No, somebody needs to give
you a
me flowers. What's going on? It's like I'm so lonely. Wow. Please put the song on. Mfamingo. Yeah, that's the song. Bring that flower.
For fun.
Yeah, fine. Look, Valentine's my Saturday. And we can't, I'm not feeling the tomorrow. I know that there's something happening. The dialogue is happening tomorrow.
Right.
And on Friday, we'll figure out something on Friday. Let's talk about Valentine's. Something that you should, I'm feeling the Valentine's.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Okay, please, go ahead.
Well, Prime Business is up next. Stay with us.